Hello, and welcome to day 4 already of 7 days, 7 sewing tutorials. Today, I'm going to show you how we can make some changes to the Cassie Top sewing pattern to get a bit of a new design. I posted a reel and a TikTok, I think last week, and so many of you really liked it, and I really love how it turned out. So I'm going to show you today how to sew it step by step, which small changes we need to make to the sewing pattern, and then I'm going to show you how to sew it. There's one little thing I'm doing differently compared to the beige one or like the cream white one I made. The cream white one I made, so I'm going to show you again in a second, but this is the original pattern piece for the bust for the Cassie Top. And then this is the pattern that I used for the cream white version. So it's a lot longer, and this time I'm going to use a new pattern that is in between the two of them. So I'm going to be using the one that's in the middle, just because I wanted to change things up a little bit, and I actually like the blue with the new version that I'm making in this tutorial much better. I feel like the fit is even better. So completely up to you, whichever one you want to make. If I can give you a recommendation, follow the steps that I'm doing in this tutorial. And I'm going to be using this blue linen fabric. And then I have this cream, no, not cream, this is like white, proper white, lace or trim or whatever you want to call it. And then you also need some bias tape. Mine is also blue. It's not exactly the same blue tone, but it's pretty similar. And then you need some thin elastic, and that's pretty much it. I'm going to show you how to make the changes to the sewing pattern now, and then I'm going to show you step by step how to sew it. It is the most beautiful top ever, and the fit is so perfect. It's so nice. I love it. At the beginning, I wanted to go and buy some because I had this already in my studio, and I don't have any white fabric. So first I wanted to go and buy some white fabric to match the lace detail here, but I'm so happy I decided to use this blue fabric. It looks so pretty together. But yeah, I'm going to stop talking now. I'm going to show you how to make this top from start to finish. So let's go. So the only change to the whole sewing pattern we need to make is to the bust piece. So this is the sewing pattern that I used when I made the reel and the TikTok that I posted. So this is the original sewing pattern piece for the bust. You need to cut it out 4 times. And then for the beige version, I made it 21 centimeters longer. So I measured 21 centimeters from here where the strap goes up, and then I connected the points. I want to change it up today again a little bit, just because I think it would be a bit boring making the same thing again. I don't know, I just want to change it up. So this time I'm going to make it only 10 centimeters higher. So the first thing I'll do, I'll just trace this sewing pattern on paper. Then I'm measuring 10 centimeters up. If you want to make it like the beige version that I made last week, you would measure from here 21 centimeters up. And then I'm connecting first this point down here with up there. And then this point. And I just want to show you the 3 different versions again. They all start the same, and then they just get longer. So I've cut the bust piece out 4 times now. And now I have cut out the front pattern piece 2 times. Oops, here. And now I will cut out the back ones, but up here the notches that you would make when you make the normal Cassie top, you don't have to make them. So just cut out the pattern piece without the notches. Okay, so I need to make 4 straps, and for the beige version of the new version of the Cassie top, I made all of them 45 centimeters, but now because my bust piece is shorter, I'm gonna make 2 55, and the longer ones I'm gonna attach to my bust caps. And then the 2 other ones, I'm gonna make them 45 centimeters long, and those are the ones that I'm gonna have at the front, so I can tie the Cassie top at the front. And I always make my straps around 4 centimeters wide when I cut them out. And then once I've sewn them and I have to cut, and then once I have sewn them, I will cut some of that extra seam allowance away. The first thing we can do now is we can sew the front and the back together. So this is my back pattern piece. If your fabric would have a good and a bad side, you would want to make sure that the 2 good sides are facing each other. And then you want to make sure, like my fabric, they look the same from both sides. So if your fabric again has a good and a bad side, you would want to make sure that the 2 good sides are facing each other. Then I'm going to press the seam allowance open, and then we can overlock it. And then we can take our straps, and again, if your fabric would have a good and a bad side, you would want to make sure the good side is facing you. Then you fold it in half. And now it depends how thin you want your straps to be. I'm gonna sew with a 1 centimeter seam allowance away from the folded edge here, and I'm gonna repeat that for all 4 of my straps. Then I cut the extra seam allowance away. And then I take my loop turner. And now I'm going to show you how we can sew in the lace. If you don't want to use lace, you can just hem the sides here now. So you want to make sure that the good side is facing you, the bad side, here the stitching is facing you, and then you fold it inwards and in again like this. But with the lace, what I'm going to do is, first I'm going to cut roughly enough lace off. Ooh, those are my old scissors. And then I cut another piece off for the other side. And now with the lace, you want to sew it onto the good side, the right side. So I'm just going to sew it along here, then I'm going to overlock it, and then I'm going to flip it like this. I forgot to film it, but all I did was I just overlocked what I had just sewn. And then the same on the other side. And now we're gonna have the right side, the good side facing us. And then I'm flipping it like this, and then we're gonna sew the seam allowance here onto the fabric. So it's gonna look like this, and we're gonna sew along here. And now I'm just gonna cut off the excess lace. So here I have my 4 cups. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take first this one away, and then this one away, and then I'm gonna sew in the long straps, these ones. So I'm gonna sew one in with the bad end right up there, and then the other one right up there, just so it's gonna make it, like, in my opinion, makes it a bit easier for when we wanna sew in the lace. So first we're just gonna sew these ones in right in the middle here, like this, and then I'll show you how we sew in the lace, because we kind of want to sew it in like this, that at the top here it's not going straight like this, but it's slowly fading out, coming out. So it's going to look like this, but let's first attach the straps. Okay, so I have cut off a piece of lace now that's a bit longer than what I need it to be, and I'm just gonna start with this piece at the front. I only want to have it on this side, not on this side, only on the side that's facing towards the center, like towards, like here's gonna be the other one, towards the middle, if you know what I mean. And I'm just gonna start sewing here with a 1 centimeter seam allowance, and then the closer we get to the top here, I'm gonna pull the lace a bit towards the outside, so it's gonna basically fade out. I'm just gonna sew it, and then I'm gonna show you what it looks like so you can better visualize what I'm talking about. So this is what it looks like. So later it's gonna more look like this, and the strap is gonna be up here. I think that looks pretty good. I'm gonna do the other one now because you want both of them to look pretty similar. So I'm gonna do the other one now and see how they look together. You see how they look a bit different? Here, let me see. I think I'm gonna open up this one here again. I like this a bit more, how it's like more, like the blending, fading is a bit more smooth in my opinion. I don't know if you can even see that. Probably you can see it. They look a little bit different. So I think I like this one better. So I think I'm gonna redo this one here again. Okay, I'm gonna try again. Yeah, this looks pretty now. I'm gonna leave it like this. What I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna leave it like this. Then I take another one of the bust pieces without the lace. And now I'm gonna sew like this. And then I'm gonna cut off the excess lace here. And then when you flip it, I'm gonna over and iron it now, but it looks so pretty. Then I'm going to do the same for the other side. I'm going to sew with the 1 centimeter seam allowance along here. Okay, so now we lay this in front of us and then we sew. So this is here, as you can see, the good side. And then we just line this up here. I usually always only pin the first few centimeters and then I put the rest in place when I sew, just because sometimes I find it a bit hard with the curve here. So I'm gonna sew from here to here, and then I'm gonna do the same on the other side. Good side. And then I sew this on here. And then I take my bias tape, I always just leave it on the roll like this. And then I fold it open and I fold it inwards for about 1 centimeter. And then I'm gonna start sewing it all the way along till the other end. And I try that the crease line here is where I'm going to do the stitching now is also here, so I'm going to sew again with a 1 centimeter seam allowance. And now that I get closer to the end here, I'm gonna cut off, not right here, but I'm gonna leave another centimeter because I wanna fold the end towards the inside here again. Oops. And because the bias tape that I used is pretty thin, pretty small, if I would just fold this over here, you would still see the fabric. So I'm just gonna cut a bit of the fabric away here. We don't need this anymore anyways. I'm gonna fold the bias tape down like this, so it was like this before, and now we just fold it down, and then we're gonna sew along here. And while you sew, you want to maybe pull this fabric and the bust cup a bit apart, just so it's not accidentally laying up there like this, like you want it to be pulled so it's flat. So now you need to cut off a piece of elastic. The thing is, it's gonna go under your bust, but you want it to be significantly smaller than that actually. So my under bust measures like 74 centimeters. And last time, let me actually double check. So 74 centimeters, and last time I made my elastic only 33 centimeters, so a lot smaller. I think today I'm gonna make it 35 centimeters long. But also keep in mind, this elastic is super stretchy. So, whoop. The thing is, like, I only want the elastic to go until around here, so then there's still gonna be a gap, because then we're still gonna attach the ties where we then tie it in the front, and then, I don't know, you'll see it. Like, once you wear it, it's gonna look so nice and it's gonna feel so nice. But just make sure that the elastic that you're gonna cut off is a lot smaller than your under bust. And what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna sew my short straps, one on each end of the elastic. So one here, and then the other one here on the other side. So then it's gonna look something like this. It doesn't matter what it's gonna look like. I can probably already tell you that mine is not gonna look nice. You just want to make sure that it's not coming undone again. So maybe sew over it from a few different angles. So this is what mine looks like now, and then I'm going to do the same on the other side. And now I'm taking my loop turner and I'm gonna push it through the tunnel that we have created with our bias tape here. Until it comes out on the other side again. As you can see, it's pretty tight here. And then I'm gonna hook one of the straps on here, like one of the elastic things, one end. And then I'm gonna close the clasp and then I pull it out. So the first thing I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna pull a little more. Actually, I'm gonna pull the full loop turner out. So now the strap is out on the other end. And what you want to do here, once the elastic, like once all of this is inside the tunnel, so you kind of want to make sure that the elastic and where you've sewn the strap in is pretty much right here where you're going to sew now. Like, you don't want the strap to go all the way to in here where your bust piece is. You want to try and have it like pretty much right on the edge here. Okay, so I've just put the top on now with a pair of jeans because there's only one step left to do now, and that is to hem it. I like this so much. I would even say I like it a bit better, like the bust a bit better than the beige one I made that I posted on Instagram. But yeah, so nice. I'm also so happy with how the lace looks. At the beginning, I thought about just adding the lace to show you how to do it. And then I thought I would unpick it again because I wasn't really sure about the white and the blue, but it looks so nice. And I think this is also gonna look so nice with a white maxi skirt. But yeah, let's hem it and then we're finished. So completely up to you. I think I'm gonna fold it up maybe 1 centimeter, 1 centimeter again. And yeah, let's go, let's do it. And that's it for today's sewing tutorial. I want to say thank you so much if you've made it this far. Thank you so much if you've purchased a sewing pattern. It means so much to me, and I really think this is such a beautiful new version of the Cassie top. I love my top. The fit is so amazing. I think next time when I'm making it, I'm going to do it without the lace detail. Like, I think it looks so beautiful, but I just want to change it up and just make it again a little bit different. And yeah, thank you. Thank you for watching. I hope I see you tomorrow again at day 5. Yes, 5. Tomorrow is day 5 of 7 days, 7 sewing tutorials. Goodbye.